B2B list building, where to find your next big client. Your next big client isn't hiding, your list is. Most "we've tapped out the market" problems are really our list is outdated problems. The best accounts aren't invisible, they're either missing from your targeting entirely or buried in a CRM that hasn't been refreshed since the last big push. When that happens, even great messaging and a strong offer can't save your outbound motion. In B2B, list building is the playing field for every outbound sales agency, SDR agency, and internal team running cold email and cold calling. If the field is full of bad data, your SDRs spend their days dialing wrong numbers, emailing dead inboxes, and chasing titles that changed months ago. That's why modern B2B list building services focus on accuracy, context, and buying signals, not just volume. The goal of this guide is simple: help you find your next big client by building an account-first list that stays fresh. We'll show how to define a tight ICP, build an account universe, map buying committees, and operationalize data hygiene so list building becomes a repeatable revenue lever instead of a one-time spreadsheet project. Why B2B list building is a revenue engine, not admin work. Data decay is the tax every outbound team pays, whether they track it or not. B2B contact data can decay between 22.5% and 70.3% annually, and email addresses alone can decay around 3.6% per month. If you finish a list and run it for quarters without refresh cycles, you're essentially funding an outbound program to contact people who no longer work there. Bad lists don't just reduce performance, they consume capacity. Reps can waste roughly 27.3% of their time, about 546 hours per year, chasing bad leads. And poor data quality is estimated to cost U.S. businesses about $3.1 trillion annually. When 42% of businesses cite low-quality leads as a major lead gen challenge, list quality stops being a RevOps detail and becomes a quota driver. Good data improves every channel you already use, especially when you're running cold calling services and a cold email agency-style motion in parallel. Email remains widely adopted in B2B, used by 88% of B2B businesses, and strong email execution is often cited as returning roughly $36 to $42 per $1 spent. Lead nurturing, powered by accurate segmentation, can generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower cost. Put bluntly, if you want more meetings, start by fixing the list before you rewrite the script. Start with accounts. Define an ICP that filters hard. Great list building starts with a clear, ideal customer profile and a ranked account universe, not by collecting as many emails as possible. This week, we recommend a 60-minute working session with sales, marketing, and customer success to lock your must-have filters. The 3 to 5 industries you actually win in, the company size bands that can afford you, the geographies you can sell profitably, and the tech stack signals that show true fit. Use your best 20 to 50 existing customers as the reference set. Then, document the pattern in a living ICP playbook your team will actually use. The output shouldn't be a fancy slide deck. It should be a practical set of filters that your B2B sales agency motion can apply consistently across CRM, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and your data providers. If the ICP can't be turned into search criteria, it's not operational. Account tiering is the difference between a focused outbound machine and a generic blast. When you treat every company the same, your team either over-researches low-value accounts or under-researches the logos that can become next big clients. In practice, a tight Tier 1 group gets deeper research and multi-threading, while Tier 2 and Tier 3 scale through repeatable filters and enrichment. Build your target account universe from multiple sources. The fastest wins usually come from data you already own. Pull closed-won and high-quality opportunities from the past 12 to 24 months. Segment them by industry, headcount, region, and sales cycle length, and then build a lookalike account set. Don't ignore stalled or closed-lost opportunities from 6 to 18 months ago either. Budgets open, priorities change, and champions move to new roles. Next, use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to expand discovery in a way spreadsheets never will. Sales Navigator is still the best directory of companies and humans, especially when you need to filter by industry, growth, hiring patterns, and seniority. The key is to save account searches, standardize naming conventions, and push the account universe into your CRM so your outbound sales agency motion is working from one prioritized target list. Relying on a single provider as the source of truth is a common mistake that creates blind spots by region, role, and industry. A better approach is layering. Pair your CRM and LinkedIn with one or two reputable B2B data tools. Then, cross-check critical Tier 1 accounts before you launch. Whether you're using providers like Apollo, ZoomInfo, or Cognism, the goal is to confirm coverage and accuracy and to keep refresh and enrichment workflows running continuously, instead of treating list building as a one-time project. Treat data quality like a revenue process. If your list isn't fresh and prioritized, your outbound team is doing the hardest work on the worst possible targets. Find the right contacts by mapping the full buying committee. Once your accounts are right, contact selection becomes much easier and much more profitable. Complex B2B deals rarely move forward with one champion. They often involve 6 or more stakeholders, and your outreach needs to reflect that reality. If you only target one persona, you're one job change away from a stalled deal. We recommend mapping a repeatable buying committee template for each ICP segment, then building mini committees inside every target account. In practical terms, that means identifying the economic buyer, the day-to-day owner who feels the pain, the technical evaluator who can veto, and the downstream users who care about workflow impact. Your SDRs will get better outcomes with fewer contacts when each contact has a clear role in the decision process. LinkedIn Sales Navigator should be your primary contact map, but it shouldn't be your only verification layer. The operational standard we like is simple. Every new target account should have 3 to 5 verified buying committee contacts before it's marked ready for outreach, and Tier 1 accounts should get an extra few minutes of manual validation. That small discipline is how B2B cold calling services and cold call services avoid wasting dials on outdated org charts. Operationalize data hygiene with SLAs, not good intentions. Treating list building as a one-off project is the most expensive efficiency move in outbound. With as many as 70.8% of business contacts changing within 12 months, the list you built 2 quarters ago is already drifting away from reality. The fix isn't more effort, it's a cadence, a monthly data refresh for active segments, automated enrichment on entry, and re-verification of key decision makers every 3 to 6 months. Your data hygiene workflow should behave like a sales motion with clear rules. Bounces should trigger immediate suppression and enrichment attempts, invalid phone numbers should be flagged for recheck, and unknown role contacts should be routed back for validation before the next sequence. This is where cold email agency performance and deliverability are won or lost, because sender reputation and reply rates are downstream of list quality. Just as importantly, don't let SDRs spend hours per day doing manual research. When SDRs are trapped in spreadsheets and tabs, they're not calling, emailing, or following up with intent-driven accounts. Standardize the tool stack and playbooks, then keep your SDR time focused on conversations while RevOps or a specialized partner handles the bulk of the research and validation. Prioritize now deals with intent, triggers, and context. If your list is accurate but not prioritized, you're still doing hard work on cold targets. The biggest upgrade modern teams make is shifting from who fits to who fits and is in market right now. That's where intent data, website signals, and trigger events turn standard prospecting into a focused, pay-per-appointment lead generation engine. Common triggers include topic research, repeat visits to high-intent pages, tech changes, hiring spikes, and funding announcements. When you overlay these signals on your account tiers, your outbound queue becomes more predictable. Tier 1 plus high intent gets immediate multi-threaded outreach, while colder segments run lighter touch sequences until signals change. This is how you shorten cycles and improve meeting-to-opportunity conversion without simply increasing volume. Layering sources matters here too, because signals are noisy in isolation. When your CRM history, LinkedIn insights, and intent tools all point to the same account, that's a strong call now moment for your cold calling team. When only one signal appears, treat it as a hypothesis and validate with light research before you allocate heavy SDR time. Build versus buy when sales outsourcing helps you scale faster. Most teams win with a hybrid model. Keep ICP, segmentation, and messaging strategy in-house, then buy scale through tools and partners. Buying huge generic lists is a classic mistake because it floods your SDRs with unqualified names, hurts deliverability, and creates false activity with no pipeline. The smarter approach is building a tight account framework first, then using reputable providers and list-building services to expand coverage within those guardrails. This is also where sales outsourcing can be the highest leverage move, especially if your AEs are prospecting or your SDRs are buried in research. A strong sales development agency or SDR agency should take the heavy lifting off your plate. List building, validation, sequencing, and dialing, while your internal team focuses on strategy and high-value conversations. In our work at SalesHive, we've seen teams move faster by pairing a clean account universe with consistent execution across email and B2B cold calling services. If you're considering an outsourced sales team, pilot it like a revenue experiment. Pick one ICP segment, run a 60 to 90-day test, and compare meetings booked, pipeline created, and cost per opportunity against your in-house baseline. Whether you choose a cold calling agency, an outbound sales agency, or a blended approach, the winning formula is the same: accurate lists, clear SLAs, and continuous iteration based on real performance data.